Women don't like nice guys. I work with women all day and I hear them complaining about toxic men. And then when a guy is nice to them, they just always talk about how he's just too thirsty.
A prostitute. Look at me!
If she's alone in every fucking photo, that means she's getting fucked.
Just constantly complaining about going to work, being at work, having to work.
The girls that come home from work and they scroll on their phones, eat some dinner, scroll on their phones more and go to bed. You are not a Barb, you're 30.
Women don't like nice guys. I work with women all day and I hear them complaining about toxic men. And then when a guy is nice to them, they just always talk about how he's just too thirsty. How is he too thirsty? Because he's into you. And then you want to complain about the men that are talking to multiple other women and are emotionally unavailable and don't give you time of the day.
See, this is what no one wants to talk about. Everyone's quick to say men aren't trustworthy, that they're always looking for someone else, but no one talks about what a man actually does every day. The pressure he carries, the work he puts in, the effort to make her happy, even when he's tired. It's easy to complain, it's easy to generalize, but it's harder to appreciate consistency. And here's the truth, girls who keep this mindset, who constantly accuse, doubt, and assume the worst, they don't find peace. They end up in toxic relationships, full of arguments, insecurity, control, and blame. Because when you expect betrayal everywhere, you create chaos even where loyalty exists. Not every man is chasing options. Some are just trying to be enough. And when effort is met with suspicion instead of respect, love doesn't grow. It slowly turns toxic.
I have a male friend, and we were talking about like the whole dating world, and he told me there's two things he looks out for in a woman's social media. He said if she posts half-naked photos, that's a red flag, and he's valid for that, because that just shows that that girl is mad insecure and really just wants people's validation. So facts. But he also said a woman who posts, like, you know, has a bunch of stories of her traveling. And I was like, yo, what's the big deal about that? I don't get it. People travel. He's like, nah, there's a difference. If she's alone in every fucking photo, that means she's getting fucked. I was like, shit. Fuck, yeah, you right. Because I know a lot of girls that travel alone. Okay, they are getting fucked. And I was like, well, what about the girls who go out with, you know, they go travel with their friends? I know a couple of girls like that. He's like, probably getting fucked, less likely. But the ones who post alone are getting fucked. And I'm like, god damn, that's smart fucking thinking.
All right, let's pause here because this mindset needs to be addressed. Some men really believe that if a girl goes on solo trips, it automatically means something wrong about her character, as if traveling alone is an invitation for assumptions. That's not truth, that's projection. Traveling solo doesn't mean she's careless, immoral, or seeking attention. Sometimes it means she's independent. Sometimes it means she wants peace. Sometimes it simply means she loves exploring the world on her own terms. The problem is, instead of understanding that, people jump straight to judgment. They reduce a woman's entire personality to a story they made up in their own head. And that's unfair. Not every girl is the same. Not every journey has hidden intentions. Not every independent choice has a bad motive behind it. A woman can travel solo and still have values. She can enjoy freedom and still respect boundaries. She can see the world and still know exactly who she is. The real issue isn't solo travel, it's how quickly society is ready to label women, instead of trying to understand them. Judging someone without knowing their story says more about the mindset of the judge than the character of the person being judged. So maybe instead of assuming the worst, we learn to respect individuality. Because freedom doesn't equal lack of character, and independence is not a flaw.
A man really just got on this app and said we don't call women losers enough. And I couldn't agree more. So I made a list. Coming in at number 1, we have women who make man-hating content. Just because you can't find a man that you want that wants you back and all the ones you date are bums does not make all men losers. You're the loser because you can't get what you want. Right behind that at number 2, we have women who make de-center men content. They are literally the center of your content. If they didn't exist, neither would your platform. And lastly, for the girlies that actually post, are the ones that make first date content. It's in the same vein, it's all really ridiculous, and you're never going to find a man that is going to take you seriously because all of them are going to see your social media and run, as they should. Number 4, we have women who have no hobbies outside of social media. The girls that come home from work and they scroll on their phones, eat some dinner, scroll on their phones more, and go to bed. Loser. Number 5, we have women who genuinely try to imitate or idolize female rappers. You are not a Barb, you're 30. Number 6, women who make jokes about men's mental health. I'm sorry you don't have any men in your life that you genuinely care about or that care about you. That's sad. Seek therapy, not projecting to other people on the internet. We are not in this. You have trauma. Deal with that. Number 7, we have women with 2 or more baby daddies. I will not be elaborating on that. I think it speaks for itself. Last but not least, we have women that would choose the bear. Did y'all not see that girl get her butt whooped by that deer? That's what y'all would look like, but 10 times worse, and I feel sorry for you. Final disclaimer, I am an equal opportunist, so I can make the same list for men, but this one's for you ladies. Love you. Not really.
See this pattern right here? The moment things don't go the way they expected, the narrative changes. Suddenly it's not "we didn't work out," it's "men are trash." Social media becomes a dumping ground for disappointment. One bad experience, and an entire gender gets blamed. Instead of accountability or reflection, it turns into man-hating content for validation and views. What really happens is pain gets converted into anger, and anger gets packaged as empowerment. But tearing men down isn't healing. It's just avoidance. Not every failed situation needs a villain. Sometimes things just don't align. When rejection turns into public shaming, it says less about man and more about emotional maturity. Because growth asks for self-awareness, not followers cheering for bitterness. If someone constantly needs to degrade others online to feel better about themselves, that's not strength. That's unresolved hurt speaking the loudest.
I just find it so ironic that we as women fought for the right to work and have the same jobs as men. So tell me why I constantly hear women complaining about having to work. Like, we fought so hard for these rights, and then suddenly we can't be appreciative of having a job. I hear women constantly complaining, especially on social media, my own workplace, from other peers, just constantly complaining about going to work, being at work, having to work. And it definitely reflects in how they interact with coworkers and customers too. They're walking around so miserable, and they make everyone around them miserable too. And it's funny because we demanded equality in the workforce. We wanted the same opportunities as men. We got what we asked for, and now we're all ungrateful as hell. Men don't constantly complain about having to work because they understand it's part of being an adult and providing for themselves and their families. And you want to know why men do these jobs, these hard jobs? Why men work and don't complain? They rarely complain, and if they do, he's definitely a beta. But other than that, men just do what needs to be done. My man works hard every single day. He owns his own company and works 60 plus hours a week, and I don't ever hear him complain, like ever. Because men were made to carry this type of stress, women weren't. Men understand that work is their responsibility, their duty. They don't expect it to make them happy or fulfilled. They expect it to provide for their families and build something meaningful.
Let's talk about this contradiction for a second. Equality is demanded loudly, but when equality actually shows up, the reality suddenly feels uncomfortable. Working the same hours, carrying real responsibility, facing real pressure, and then the complaints start. Constant reminders of how much she does, how tired she is, how much she sacrifices for the family. But here's the part people ignore. Men have been doing this quietly for generations. Working long hours, carrying financial stress, putting their own emotions last. And most of the time, no speeches, no posts, no need for applause. This isn't about saying women shouldn't speak. It's about understanding what equality actually means. Equality isn't just rights. It's responsibility without applause. Because real effort doesn't always announce itself. Real responsibility doesn't need constant validation. When work turns into competition and sacrifice turns into performance, the balance breaks. True equality is shared effort, shared pressure, and shared respect, not constant comparison. Because the goal was partnership, not proving who suffers more.
Did you or did you not know that he was taking out a personal loan to buy you this car? And that was so that he hopefully would ingratiate himself to you and you would like him better. Is that right?
Correct.
Did it work?
No.
How soon after he took out the loan and bought you the car did you know it wasn't going to work?
We were just going to be friends through it all anyways. It wasn't going to be anything. He didn't want
You
the
know
money
that.
from me. Yes.
You knew that right along. Then you know what you're like? A prostitute. You took money from him under false pretenses. He was hoping for, you're not even a prostitute who delivers. Look at me. That is the cruelest thing that I ever heard. You wanted a car. You had a guy who cared for you, who was trying to help. Put your hand down. And you decided to use him for money, holding out the hope that it would be something more of a relationship than just friends until you got what you wanted, and then you told him to take off. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what you just told me. Precisely. You have the worst kind of character I've heard in a long time. How much does she owe you?
$2,724, I believe.
Judgment for the plaintiff. Let me tell you something, madam. You may have a reasonable-looking face. If you have a lousy character that will last you your whole life, you have to have a good character. You have to be a moral person. You don't use people cruelly. Do you understand? Good. Goodbye.
This is how some women use men quietly, strategically. Not love first, benefits first. Emotional support when it's needed. Financial help when it's convenient. Gifts, favors, loans all accepted without hesitation. The man gives, thinking it's partnership, thinking it's commitment, thinking it's love. But once the needs are met, once the upgrades are secured, the attachment suddenly disappears. No responsibility, no guilt, just distance. And then the excuse comes, you need to focus on myself, or I've changed. That's not growth. That's use. Using someone's effort, money, and sacrifice without intention to stay isn't empowerment. It's exploitation. Real relationships don't drain one person dry while the other walks away upgraded. Because love doesn't take until there's nothing left. Love gives back.